Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive, all about Instagram for business in 2025. We know you guys want to grow your brand,
Right.
whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out. We've been doing a lot of research lately, and let me tell you, some of the stuff we found is pretty counterintuitive.
Yeah. Instagram is always changing, so staying ahead of the curve is so important. We've got some insights that are going to make you rethink how you're approaching things.
For this deep dive, we've got a mix of sources, advice from successful entrepreneurs, a really insightful course about using Instagram for business, and then a strategic guide specifically for 2025.
Looking at these different perspectives can help you figure out what strategies work for you and what's going to be best for your business.
Exactly. Hit that like button and share this deep dive with anyone who needs to step up their Instagram game. Because we're about to drop some serious knowledge here. So let's start with something that really caught my eye. The idea that the Instagram photo might be dead. One source, experienced business coach, was really adamant that video, especially Reels, is the only way to go now because of all the algorithm changes.
Yeah, it's true that video, especially those short videos like Reels, are really dominating right now. And I think it's important to remember that photos still have value, especially for showing off your products and creating a strong visual identity.
I was picturing a world with only those crazy, fast-paced Reels. I was wondering if a beautifully curated grid is just a thing of the past now.
Aesthetics still matter for sure, but it's about finding that right balance. The key is to think about your audience and like your content style. Does your brand lend itself to more visual storytelling through photos, or are you better suited to those quick attention-grabbing videos?
All right. Speaking of strategy, let's talk about the algorithm, that mysterious force that seems to control everything on Instagram. One expert gave some advice that really resonated with me. He said, stop chasing the algorithm, focus on content that helps you reach your goals, not what you think the algorithm wants.
I love that. It's all about taking control. The algorithm is always changing, so chasing it just makes you inconsistent, and that ultimately hurts your brand and how much people engage with you.
One entrepreneur even shared this story about how they got tons of success with long-form videos, even though everyone was saying short content was the only way to get views.
Yeah. It just shows how important it is to be consistent and stay true to your brand. The algorithm will figure it out eventually and start rewarding you for sticking with it.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive so far, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your network. We've got so much more to cover.
Okay. Let's move on to another super important element for success on Instagram, building community. This was something that came up again and again in all of our sources.
It's not just about how many followers you have anymore. It's about creating a loyal, interactive community around your brand.
Exactly. And we found some really great advice on how to do that. One entrepreneur broke it down into three key pillars: transparency, consistency, and involvement.
So transparency means being open and authentic with your audience, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's about building trust by showing what's going on behind the scenes of your business, sharing your values, and even being open about your challenges. Consistency, like we talked about earlier, is so important for keeping your audience engaged. And involvement just means actually being part of the conversation, replying to comments and making your audience feel valued.
Our sources gave some really good examples of how to put these pillars into action, like replying to comments, doing those Q&As, going live, and using all those interactive story features.
Those are all ways to make your audience feel like they're part of something special, like they're part of a community. Okay, let's talk about monetization. We found this really interesting strategy from a successful entrepreneur. They shared this secret about using a platform's recommendations for newsletters to earn money for each new subscriber that signs up.
Hold on. So you can make money from new subscribers before you've even made content for them.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And this entrepreneur's plan is to use that early money to buy social media ads and create this self-sustaining growth loop.
That's so innovative. Makes you wonder what other unconventional monetization strategies are out there.
Totally. It's all about thinking outside the box and being creative. Like, what unique skills or assets do you have that could help you generate revenue? It's definitely worth brainstorming.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears and talk about a challenge that every business on Instagram faces: standing out in a saturated landscape. The 2025 guide we looked at really emphasized authenticity and differentiation.
It's about finding your unique voice and letting your brand's personality shine through. One entrepreneur called it creating a brand identity, something that's woven into all your content.
And another successful business owner talked about combining existing trends with their own personal touch and creating a distinct visual style that became their signature.
It's all about figuring out what makes you and then putting that into your Instagram presence. Ask yourself, what are your core values? What are you passionate about? And how can you translate that into your content?
Okay, let's talk about that Instagram verification game, because that little blue check mark is still a big deal.
Yeah.
In 2025, the course we looked at outlined all the updated verification requirements, and they really emphasized the need for notability.
Basically, they want to verify accounts that represent well-known, highly searched for brands or individuals.
And they gave specific examples of the types of links they're looking for, like news articles, features in big publications, or verification on other social media platforms.
All of that helps prove your notability and influence.
One of the experts in the business course suggested this really smart strategy. Start by targeting local media outlets and bloggers to get coverage. Then work your way up to those bigger publications.
It's a good approach, especially for smaller businesses or anyone just starting out. Getting featured in even those smaller publications can help build your credibility and could lead to wider recognition.
Wow. We've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. If you're finding this valuable, make sure to like this video and share it with others who might benefit.
Totally. There's so much more to explore, so stay tuned for part 2, where we'll get into even more strategies for using Instagram for business success in 2025.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Instagram for business in 2025. We're so excited to keep unpacking these strategies with you.
Yeah, me too. I'm already thinking about how I can apply these to my own Instagram.
That's what we like to hear. Remember, Instagram is always evolving, but you can stay ahead of the game by being strategic, creative, and adaptable. So let's pick up where we left off and dive into Reels. They really seem like the key to unlocking organic reach in 2025.
Absolutely. Instagram is really putting its weight behind Reels, and for good reason. They keep people on the platform longer and boost engagement.
Yeah, for sure.
One business coach we came across actually suggested ditching photos completely and going all in on Reels.
Wow, that's a bold move. But it really shows just how important Reels are becoming. What about those of us who aren't natural video creators, though? How do you make Reels that stand out and grab attention?
That's a great question. We actually found some really good advice from our sources. You need a strong hook, something that captures people's attention in the first few seconds.
So no more slow intros. We have to get straight to the point.
Exactly. Think about using eye-catching visuals, bold statements, or even intriguing questions to make people stop scrolling.
I've seen some Reels that start with someone like jumping into the frame or doing something unexpected. And it definitely makes you want to see what happens next.
Exactly. It's about creating that sense of surprise or curiosity that keeps people watching.
Makes sense.
Another tip that came up again and again was to keep those reels fast-paced and dynamic.
Right.
No one wants to watch a boring, static video. Keep things moving with quick cuts, transitions, and engaging visuals. Think about it like creating a visual rhythm that keeps the viewer's attention.
I like that.
Yeah.
One entrepreneur mentioned storytelling. I think that's so key for making your content memorable.
Oh, totally. Stories are hardwired into our brains. We're naturally drawn to them. So instead of just listing features or benefits, weave those things into a narrative. Give your audience a reason to care, to connect with your brand on a deeper level.
That's great advice. Don't forget to hit that like button and share this deep dive with your network. It helps us get this information out to more people who can benefit from it.
Absolutely. Now, while we're on the topic of creating engaging content, let's talk about Instagram stories. One expert actually suggested treating your stories like a TV network.
Interesting. What do they mean by that?
It's all about planning and consistency. Think about creating scheduled programming with recurring themes or episodes throughout the week.
So like having a content calendar specifically for your stories.
Exactly. It helps you stay organized and make sure you're providing value to your audience consistently. So let's say you're a fitness coach. You could have Motivation Monday stories, Workout Wednesday stories, Recipe Friday stories. That way your audience knows what to expect and can look forward to certain types of content.
And we can't forget about all the interactive features in stories.
Things like question stickers, polls, quizzes. They're fantastic for boosting engagement and getting your audience talking to each other.
I love using question stickers to get feedback from my followers. It helps me figure out what they're interested in and what kind of content they want to see more of.
Yeah, it's a great way to make your audience feel heard and valued. And speaking of community, let's circle back to that. Building genuine connections with your audience is so important. It's not just about gaining followers. It's about creating a loyal, engaged community that really supports your brand.
We talked about transparency, consistency, and involvement. Are there any other ways to build those genuine connections?
One entrepreneur we researched really emphasized being present and authentic on Instagram. It's about letting your personality shine through and connecting with your audience on a human level.
So don't be afraid to be yourself, to show your face, and let people see the real you behind the brand.
Exactly. Go live. Respond to comments. Engage with your followers' content. Just show them that you're not just a faceless brand. You're a real person who cares about connecting with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another important element we heard about was transparency. People really appreciate it when businesses are open and honest, even about their challenges.
Transparency builds trust. And trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, even the relationship you have with your audience.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So share behind-the-scenes content, answer questions honestly, and don't be afraid to address concerns openly. Show your audience that you're real, relatable, and human.
Definitely. Now, before we move on, let's talk about something that's all verification. That little blue check mark. It can still make a big difference in 2025.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a symbol of credibility and authority,
Yeah.
and it can really help you stand out. But how do you actually get verified?
The course we reviewed had a really in-depth section on the updated verification requirements. And the big thing is notability.
So Instagram wants to verify accounts that represent well-known, highly searched-for brands or individuals.
Exactly. They gave some specific examples of the types of links they're looking for. News articles, features in major publications, or verification on other social media platforms. All of that helps to prove your notability.
One expert had this really interesting strategy that I hadn't heard before. They said to start by targeting local media outlets and bloggers to get some coverage. And then once you've built up some credibility there, you can work your way up to bigger publications.
That's a really smart approach, especially for smaller businesses or those just starting out. Getting featured in even those smaller publications can boost your credibility and lead to more recognition down the line.
It's like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
This deep dive is packed with so much valuable information. If you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your network.
Absolutely. We have even more to cover in part 3, so stay tuned for the final part of our deep dives into the future of Instagram for business. We'll be exploring some advanced tactics that can really take your Instagram game to the next level. Yeah, and now it's time to unveil some advanced tactics that can really elevate your Instagram game and maximize your impact.
I'm excited to hear about this.
Me too.
So one of the most exciting things we've been looking at is Instagram's evolution into a full-fledged e-commerce platform.
Yeah,
This is huge for businesses that want to drive sales directly through the app.
definitely. Remember those shoppable posts we talked about earlier? They've become even more sophisticated in 2025, allowing you to seamlessly integrate product tags into your feed, stories, and even reels.
It's like turning your whole Instagram presence into this virtual storefront.
Exactly. It creates a really smooth shopping experience for your customers. They can discover a product they love in your feed or stories and buy it right then and there without ever leaving Instagram.
So easy. Talk about impulse buys. But wait, it gets even better.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram has also rolled out some incredible features like Instagram Checkout, which lets customers complete their purchase entirely within the app.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it streamlines the buying process and reduces cart abandonment. No more sending customers to your website and hoping they follow through.
Yeah, and with platforms like Shopify integrating seamlessly with Instagram, you can manage your orders, your inventory, and all of your customer data in one place.
It's like a dream come true for business owners who want to make things easier and have a clear picture of how their sales are doing.
Totally.
So speaking of driving sales, let's talk about Instagram ads. They've come a long way in 2025, offering even more targeting options and creative formats.
Yeah, like those shoppable ads we talked about. They combine eye-catching visuals with the convenience of in-app purchases.
Yeah, you can target your ads based on demographics, interests, behaviors, and even retarget users who have already interacted with your brand.
It's super precise. You can really zero in on your ideal customer and make sure your ads are seen by the people who are most likely to be interested.
And here's something really interesting. Instagram is now prioritizing local optimization,
Oh, wow.
which is huge for brick-and-mortar businesses or anyone targeting customers in specific areas.
Absolutely. By using geotags and local hashtags, you can make sure your content is seen by people in your area. It's like hyper-local marketing at its finest.
It's so valuable for businesses like restaurants, shops, and service providers.
Totally.
All right. Let's shift gears for a minute and talk about something that's becoming more and more important for businesses on Instagram. Sustainability and social responsibility.
Yeah,
Consumers are more conscious than ever, and they want to support brands that are aligned with their values.
definitely.
It's not just about selling products anymore. It's about building a brand that stands for something meaningful. One entrepreneur we learned from called this the purpose-driven brand.
Yeah, I like that. It's about showcasing your commitment to ethical practices, environmental sustainability, or social causes that resonate with your audience. This can be such a powerful way to connect with people on an emotional level and build brand loyalty.
Absolutely. We saw some amazing examples of brands incorporating sustainability into their Instagram content, from eco-friendly packaging to partnerships with charities.
Oh, that's great.
Businesses are getting creative and finding ways to show their values and make a positive impact.
It's about being authentic and transparent, not just following a trend. Consumers can see right through greenwashing, so make sure your actions match your words.
Couldn't agree more. And hey, if you're finding this deep dive valuable, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your network. It helps us reach more people and spread these insights.
Definitely. So let's move on to another trend that's gaining momentum. Interactive content. Things like quizzes, polls, surveys, even games.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
They're becoming so popular on Instagram.
Why is that?
Interactive content encourages people to participate, right? Which boosts your reach and helps you collect valuable data about your audience. It's a win.
Oh, for sure. One of the business experts we learned from recommended using interactive content to gamify the shopping experience.
Oh, that's cool.
Like you could create a quiz that helps people find the right product for their needs and then seamlessly directs them to the product page.
Love it. It's a fun and engaging way to guide people through the buying process and make it more enjoyable.
Definitely. Speaking of engagement, we can't forget about user-generated content. It's pure gold for building trust and authenticity.
Oh, yeah. Consumers trust recommendations from other consumers more than they trust branded content. It's social proof at its best.
Plus, user-generated content is often way more creative and visually appealing than anything you could create yourself.
Yeah.
It's a fresh perspective on your brand that can really connect with potential customers.
Yeah, encourage your followers to create content featuring your products or services and then repost and share their stuff. It shows you value their perspective and that you're part of a community.
Totally. You could even create a hashtag just for user-generated content.
Oh, that's smart.
It makes it easier to find and curate the best submissions. It's a great way to organize and showcase all the amazing content your audience is making.
Love it.
Now, a question that comes up a lot is, how much should you actually post on Instagram? The advice from our sources was all over the place.
Yeah.
But everyone agreed that consistency is key. Find a balance that works for you and your audience.
That makes sense.
So for Reels, try posting 3 to 5 times a week. For Stories, daily posting is ideal, like 5 to 10 slides a day. And for regular feed posts, aim for 3 to 4 times a week.
Those are good general guidelines. But the best approach really depends on your audience and your goals.
For sure. And don't forget about engagement. Spend at least 20 minutes a day interacting with your audience.
Right.
Responding to comments and liking and sharing their content. It's called social media for a reason. Okay, so let's wrap things up with one final element for success on Instagram. Data analysis. Instagram Insights is your best friend when it comes to understanding how your content is performing and making smart decisions based on data.
It's like having this behind-the-scenes look at what your audience is liking.
Track key metrics like reach, engagement, follower growth, and website clicks. This data will tell you what's working, what's not, and how you can tweak your strategy.
It's all about experimenting and testing and then refining your approach based on what the data tells you. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the future of Instagram for business in 2025.
It's been quite a journey. We've explored so many strategies and tactics, from the basics to the really advanced stuff. We hope you've learned some valuable insights and that you're feeling inspired at all the possibilities that Instagram holds. Remember, Instagram is always changing. But with the right plan, some creative thinking, and the willingness to adapt, you can use this incredibly powerful platform to achieve some amazing results for your business. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the latest trends and strategies. And until next time, happy Instagramming.